Hey, everybody in NXT just went off the air. Get out of here. NXT just went off the air. This is Unpopular Review, the NXT review show. Myself, the great Grand Slam Pooba, and Sabrina Stella. We have a lot to talk about. This show is the last show before Heatwave. Let's talk about it, guys. You're watching Unpopular Review. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. Hit those buttons, damn it. And let's talk about some NXT.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unpopular Review.
Thank you all for clicking on our faces.
New flag with all that.
Okay, so I wrote down some notes.
Shots do that. I don't want to sit too hard. That's twice. That'll probably go over about as well as Colonel Booty.
Because there was no Jay White site.
Okay, just straight up gangbanging. This story has been fit. You gotta pay attention.
So Unpopular Review does not. What is the CEO of, Chris? Jesus, golly. Let's start the show.
What is going on with this computer? Hey folks, you already heard the introduction. I'm one of your hosts, the great Grand Slam Pooba, and I'm joined with my co-host for Tuesday. What we call it, the Tuesday night crew, the NXT Tuesday crew.
NXT Tuesday.
We were talking about adding some tacos to the name because it should be.
Soon we will have an NXT Taco Tuesday day.
And you guys should be here for that because who don't like tacos? Like if you don't like, my mother don't like tacos, so I'm going to say this very low because I don't want to get yelled at. But if you don't like tacos, what's wrong with you? And no one passed that word around. But we're here to talk about NXT. This is the show before Heatwave. And I thought it was a solid show. I thought it was a fun show. I thought it did what it had to do. They had some matches, advanced a lot of storylines. And for me personally, I got to see JC Jane on my screen. So that made me very, very happy. So what did you think about NXT tonight? Sabrina Stella.
Well, I enjoyed it like I usually do. It was a very fun show, very entertaining. The weekend before, the days before Heatwave, so to speak. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing what will go down.
Fantastic. I want to give you your flowers here, madam, because before we went on the air, you sat here and said, and reminded me today is one Bret the Hitman Hart's birthday. And you said, I'm wearing this pink and white in honor of Bret Hart. And when I heard that, I said, whoa, I have a Bret Hart shirt. And I should totally wear a Bret the Hitman Hart shirt. Everybody that knows me know that Bret the Hitman Hart is my favorite wrestler of all time. He does no wrong. And someone who wrote an Unpopular Review in the chat there, obviously someone has been drinking, what is it, 10, 17 is already drinking, crazy, says no one cares. I care, so I got the floor. Please go
care,
away.
Several other people care.
Thank
Those
you.
that are inspired by Bret Hart cares.
Thank you.
I will also like to give a quick little birthday shout out to someone who actually does train in the Hart family dungeon right now, is familiar with the family, is part of a faction called New Dynasty. They use the same logo as the fan. His name, this one in particular, is Cam Fox, is a talent that I've seen in person a few times. So a happy birthday to him as well, because he shares the same birthday.
That is greatness, and I hope he has the most excellence of execution birthday. Happy birthday, guy.
Cam.
And what's his name, Cam?
His wrestler name is Cam Fox.
All right, Cam Fox. I'm going to make sure that we got that name right. Apologies, but happy birthday, Cam Fox. Look at the guy in Unpopular Review. Like Bret Hart inspired me to change it. And you know the person who clicked that, they couldn't wait to click it because they knew I wasn't going to do it. And they're probably laughing right now, all laughing and probably just shaking the whole wherever that person lives. Can't wait to see that person take off. Yeah, I bet you are. Let's get into.
But anyways, before we get into NXT real quick, we here on the NXT side want to wish a congratulations to Cactus Katie, because from AEW Forbidden Door pay-per-view, as always, we have our polls where we vote, and whoever gets the most votes becomes champion. clean sweep the entire polls as far as predictions. So she is now our current UPR champion. So big congratulations to Katie.
Congratulations to Cactus Katie. She's new to the group, but I mean, probably won the championship. Probably the fastest person I've seen win the championship. So congrats to her. She has to defend her title twice this weekend. So she got some big events coming up because we have Money in the Bank. I know we're gonna have a prediction show later this week, and there's also the review show after. But I can also say we're going to be reviewing NXT Heatwave Sunday. So when it goes off the air, I was telling Sabrina and Stella it will be both me, her, and we're gonna have some friends there. So please tune in. Keep watching Unpopular Review. Keep watching us. Thank you. We salute you, beautiful people. But you guys are here to hear us talk about some NXT. Let's talk about NXT. I'm sorry, I had to bring the book out because I do stuff the old-fashioned way. One day I will text it.
He takes notes. I use the blogs to help assist me in everything that I need, just in case.
This is why we're the best. Do you hear some of these guys on Unpopular Review? I want to give a shout out to Unpopular Review because we have a great batch of cast. I don't think that makes sense, but a great batch of individuals.
We have a great variety of people.
Absolutely, they are fantastic. They're lovely. I would sit here and say, watch the Monday Night Raw crew, watch the AEW crew, watch the Friday Night crew, watch the Mike Knox show.
Well, I mean, technically, they're a Saturday afternoon crew since they review SmackDown.
They don't even do it right after. They're not as dedicated as not even the Monday Night Raw crew. I mean, I think we're the only one. Well, AEW is dedicated. They go on right after. But the Monday night and Friday night, they don't. Fun fact, AEW has more matches than both. And yes, absolutely. I thought Forbidden Door was still going on, honestly.
Not to mention they put out a surprise Kyle Fletcher squash match that none of us saw coming.
Yeah, they added a few matches. I was like, wait, when the good H-Man or new H-Man says you have lovely hair. And we also
the
got
curls have come out to play when the humidity strikes here in this lovely state of Florida.
And he also let us know that we have 2 days left before 4th of July and the parade and fireworks. I didn't even know there was a parade for 4th of July. Maybe I'm just forgetting stuff at this point. Let's talk about the opening match here on NXT. I thought this was the right move to open the show. We had Jadia Parker going against Michin, and these girls went out there and had a match.
They had a street fight.
It was a street fight. These girls took it to the street. You had Michin when she was coming out. She came out with the toys. She came out with the garbage can, and she had candlestick and all that stuff. Jadia Parker was holding her own. Michin is the more experienced, but Jada was sitting there saying like, well, we're doing this in the streets, so anything goes.
And considering she's with OTM, if she were to lose that one,
she wouldn't be out the mud. She'd be really in the mud.
That mud would have turned into quicksand.
No one wants to deal with quicksand. I saw this video recently. It was random on my Instagram because random videos pop up, and a guy almost got stuck up in the in quicksand. You never want to be stuck in any of that stuff. So when you said that, it made me immediately maybe. You ever watch Robot Chicken? And there's this one episode where the giraffe got stuck in quicksand, and I guess because his neck is so long, he just got stuck because he has such a long neck. Sorry, just wanted to bring that up. Had nothing to do with the show, but. Jada's holding on.
Sometimes that's why people like watching it.
Because we're so much fun. That's what. Wait until we start bringing the tacos in. We're gonna really, you guys are gonna really want to stay with us. But yeah, Michin, she's the veteran of this match. She's putting in the work. Jada though is holding her own. There's a spot that I do like. I didn't go move for move here, but there's a spot where Michin is like, her body is sideways. Jada comes up and does like, I forget what she calls it. She might have a name for the move, but she hops up on the rope and just use her butt to knock the girl down. There's a few times where she tries to hit her with the running hip attack, and she missed a few times. But when she went outside, this match went all around. I do like that. I like that they used weapons. A spot here I wanted to include here was Michin had nuts and bolts. So when I saw the bag, because you watch wrestling for so long, I said, there's no way they're gonna use glass, not
or thumbtacks.
Or thumbtacks, right. But no, it wasn't that. And I like too a few. I forget which pay-per-view it was. It was the one with Cody and AJ. They had a I Quit match, and AJ had a bag.
That was his last pay-per-view not that long ago.
and it was handcuffs. So I thought that was cool because he fooled everyone. He says, "Not what you think."
Clash at the Castle, I think it was, or something like that.
Correct, wrestling doll. But she pulls out the nuts and bolts. But instead of Jada going through it, Michin goes through it. Later in the match, Jada hits the running hip attack outside, throw it back in, and does it again in the ring. Pins her 1, 2, 3. And as much as I'm saying, oh, she pinned her clean, she did beat her clean because she had no interference from OTM. So she gets the win. This is a big win for Jadia Parker, and I like that they went that route to just show that she is she's nothing to play with. And I can see them wanting to do stuff with her in the future. So I give you the floor here, Wrestling Doll. What did you think about this match?
I enjoyed watching this match too. It's like you said, it was the right call to give Jada the win because besides the fact that it's a street fight and she's with the faction out, she's with the team out the mud. If she were to lose, she would look like you know how like in TV shows you have the person that's posing like they're a certain stereotype, but they're really something else because they don't want to be that anymore. Like a rich kid acting like they're all thug and tough and all that, like they in the streets all the time, even though they're not. They grew up with a silver spoon in their mouth. Kind of like that's what she would have looked like if she were to have lost. But I'm happy that they went the route to have her win, so that way she can do more over there and show that she could definitely have some good feuds with other people in the future. Because as much as we like seeing her and Mia Yim go at it, because this gives Mia some chances to show what she can do on TV, it's like what's going to happen after the feud with OTM versus the OC is over.
There we go. And speaking of which, I do want to highlight some of the stuff George is saying. He said he's excited about NXT Heatwave. Same here. That's looking like a fun show. We also got New H-Man. I got anime comic books and Star Wars magazines. I've never been into Star Wars, but that's dope that you got some anime comics. I think they call them mangas, right? Mangas.
Japanese comics are mangas, yes.
Yeah, we get good.
You know which one's which because mangas, you read it backwards.
Yeah, I remember I picked up one and I felt like an idiot. I thought I did it wrong, and then I realized, like, all right, it's reverse. George, he says, yeah, I can see them running the back, and he also adds, but I can see the OC versus OTM, a 6-person tag match possibly down the road. I could see that too. I could definitely see that down the line too, Georgie. The next thing, I want to just combine all of it, but Evans, same thing with Trick. All the main guys that's in the World Championship picture, they all talk about their chances on winning the NXT Championship. Evans, I like Evans. You know, I do want to sit here and say that Evans, you know, I was watching the show today or tonight. I really said, like, I like this guy because he's so authentic. So, you know, when he would talk, he was like, the way he would speak, you could tell it wasn't like it was like an accent or it was fake or nothing like that. You know, the way he talks, like, yeah, no, I'm really scared, but, you know, your boy's excited. And I'm doing it all injustice here, but really like the young lad named Evans.
Well, I mean, they did pluck him fresh from the indies to the WWE,
yeah.
So
young man too.
The cool part.
No, 100%. I did want to throw this out here real quick too, because there was a segment here that I didn't speak about, and I have to speak about it because guess who's in it? That's right,
JC.
Absolutely, I love her. So
yes, Ariana's in the
Ariana. Oh, go ahead. You want to take the floor,
with their sword? Yes, I wanted to get a little something out there.
Sure.
So we got Ariana Grace sitting by herself, doing the whole trying to get people's attention, like you see on TV. Carmen's playing with the sword. She asks her, "What do you want?" And Ariana says that Soul snatched my soul last week. And that I'm sad because I'm not going to get to go to Heatwave in my hometown of Toronto. And Carmen says that she's from there and says that Carmen isn't as Canadian as she is. With the
tell somebody that.
And Jasmine coming in to mock both of them. And Ariana's like, I'm not with her. And then Carmen gets up in their faces, but they just laugh it off and they leave.
I loved all of that. I was a little concerned here because when I saw this, I said, don't go. I thought that was it for her, but I was proven wrong. Good stuff here. Glad that wasn't it. But let's talk about this match here. And we're gonna get into the chat in a minute. We see you guys in the chat. So I see you, George. We see you, good Chris, and we see you, new H-Rank. Just give us a second. Let's get into this match, and we'll highlight your comments. This mic got all my way. I'm sending this thing wrong with my hair. New Catch Republic, they're back on NXT, and they went against Hank Walker and Hank Ledger. So let me just say something real quick here. I looked at Hank and Tank, right? And these guys have evolved into something totally different. So I remember when Hank first started, you know, he just got off his shift from being security and just wanted to be a wrestler. Now bro is wearing these shorts and I guess it's like a big jersey. And if you, I would say Google them, right? So there's this tag team. There was a tag team called The Public Enemy. And I was in there saying they look like the Public Enemy. You gotta take a look at them. That was the vibe I was getting out of this wardrobe. And I even put that as a note because I wanted to make sure that I said this for the show. Decent match. New Catch Republic gets the win. Nothing really major to talk about here except that, you know, I feel like with Hank and Tank, it's just for them to get something so they can go out there. They was not going to beat New Catch Republic. And, I'm a big fan of Tyler Bate. When he hit the spiral tap, I immediately was like, because I was gush on that. So I said, oh, that's so beautiful. And then when he does it, so it's a sight of beauty when he does it. So, yeah, I didn't expect anything out of this. I thought it was a okay match. I don't want to say it was 5 stars at the Tokyo Dome, but it was fine. It was fine. I had no problem with it. Hank and Tank, I see you in the comments, George. You're saying Hank and Tank has grown on you. Really? I want to hear more about this. But Sabrina, Stella, you're laughing at this because we're talking about Hank and Tank. I can't help but laugh at this team because they only wanted to be a team because their names matched. Nothing else. I don't even think they have like me and you. We're a tag team. We get each other. We get each other's sense of humor. We are both nerds. We've talked about Power Rangers. You don't like Rocky as the Red Ranger, right? No, you don't. Oh, maybe we're not the team I thought we are, Wrestling Doll. Don't you said Rocky?
I'm not saying that I liked Rocky. I didn't care for that particular season when he was on
Thank
there.
you. He will never beat Jason. I'm sorry. Jason, number one always.
Listen, we will one day talk about our top 5 Power Rangers theories as far as which ones we liked, and that one is not in my top 5.
Thank you. Real quick, I just want to highlight, because I don't know how long he'll be here, but we see the mayor of the Jackpack community, Roderick. He says, I'm keeping my eye 100 to make sure that she and Katrina are not disrespecting and bad-mouthing JCJ's name into the ground, and then I'm going to report it to you. I love stuff like that. Thank you, Roderick. Thank you for being the mayor of the Jackpack community. Thank you for getting back to me and letting me know what goes on. Let me know, because I will write a white woman note or letter, is what they call it, and that means it's going to go to the higher up. Wrestling Doll, tell us what you thought about this tag match.
Well, I thought it was good. It was a nice way for Hank and Tank to get more of their bearings in as far as being a team. I was laughing a little bit because I do like both of them. And I remember when I would frequently go to NXT to watch, how many of the people would just cheer for Hank. It was very organic. It just grew naturally. I mean, he started off as a fun guy at first, like just starting and wasn't the greatest, but he just was so happy to be in there, was just happy trying that you couldn't help but just love the guy. He was just a big, lovable teddy bear, so to speak. And then you have another one that's like a big, lovable teddy bear in Tank. So you just love them even more. So, but I did enjoy it. I was happy to see that they did ask New Catch Republic politely last week if they could have a match with them both so they could get like a chance to improve their teamwork. And they said yes. Sure. So I was happy to see this come into fruition. I was happy for both of them.
So that's a good thing. I mean, I see that you're sort of a fan of Hank and Tank. Same thing with George. We see you in there. I did want to highlight some of the stuff George wanted to mention from the last thing that we were talking about. He said, of course, Ariana's going to turn on Carmen. Just wait.
Okay, she's not going to turn on Carmen. She's just going to be uninterested and walk away.
And honestly, if I can be honest with you guys in the chat, I feel like this is a safe place where I can talk. Good. Carmen's have no business getting in the same ring as JC Jane and Jasmine next. Honestly, you know, when Jasmine said her thing, Carmen should have just sat there and said, okay, you know, and just kept cleaning her sword, but she chose not to. And then we're going to talk about that match. We'll get there later. He also said here, those two I could see them in the NXT title picture if given the push. And I guess he's talking about Hank and Tank. I could see them having a match, but I don't see them having like a push or like a title.
Not now. I would say like they're more in the middle right now.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Like, I feel like there's other tag teams I would put over them. And, no disrespect to Hank and Tank.
Yes, no disrespect to Hank and Tank, but
Absolutely
there's a few other teams that would definitely deserve a title shot and actually win it and succeed and have a formidable title reign. Malik and Idris.
Yes, that's the team I'm thinking about. I mean, they're probably
waiting for that for the last few years now. Give it to us at HBK. Give it to us.
I feel like we're going to get it, and it's going to be so worth it. Like, I feel like there's a story.
I will be cheering to the moon and back.
Oh, me and you both, girl. We both will be making a lot of noise in our respective states. You in Florida and me in New York. That absolutely. So yes, I'm totally down for it. I wanted to hit our guy up here, New Age Man. He said, "Well, I can't wait for Comic-Con soon festival." Yes, I can't wait for Comic-Con either. Let's move down a little bit. We got George. Cat and Shay are disrespecting JG Jane. Of course they are. They don't like her. Well, because they don't. You know what? When you just don't have taste. That's what happens. Malik and Eldris.
And like how he gets with me because I think all his opinions are not 100% right.
Who's that?
The executive contradictor, as Mike Knox likes to call him.
I don't listen to anything EC says. Like one time he called me and I was at work and I immediately fell asleep because I just did not want to hear anything that was going on. We got George. He's mentioning here Lola Vice, and I can't wait to hear your opinion about Lola Vice's promo against Roxanne Perez. But he says Lola Vice, the first Cuban American NXT Women's Champion, that would be huge. Yeah,
it would be. And once we get to that segment, we will more than gladly talk about it.
Let's talk about our guy Oro, right? Oro Mensah. Oro Mensah these last few weeks has been dominating Ethan Page. Ethan Page a few weeks ago took him out, took out
Noam.
Noam is really out. Like he's been out for a while. Yeah, he's really out.
Or I had to call him over the phone. He couldn't even go to him. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, he had to FaceTime him. And Oro had this really cool. You know what I like about wrestling? I like when they bring real life stuff into it. And he told this real life story about last week about
his family, about being separated, being put into foster care for a while and felt like out of place. And he didn't feel like he had a home until he was with the Metaphor.
Yeah. And that was real. Like you could tell that was a real story that he told and he told us. And you could just feel, because this is a heel faction, right? And now they're making like the
I mean, at first it was, but I feel like it just became something so funny and so relatable that everybody just started liking them. Like they became the NXT 2.0 version of The Way. Because The Way was a heel faction with Candice, Johnny, Indy, and Austin. That they eventually became like a lovable family type faction that they had to turn face. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to do that now if they haven't already with the Metaphor, but it just feels like that right now.
You know, honestly, that's a really good comparison. I wouldn't have thought that, but right, I get what you're saying. They were a heel faction, comedy too, and eventually they had the babyface turn. That's interesting. I wouldn't have even thought that. Good job, wrestler. George, make sure we give 20 points here for my tag team partner because that was damn good. Good job, doll. But he is reinstated. So we have Mr. Stone and I'm sorry, Stevie. I almost said Stevie Nixon. Stevie Nixon is a music artist.
Stevie Turner.
I almost said Stevie Nixon. Oh my God. Can you imagine Stevie Nixon here in NXT, but Stevie Turner.
If she were there singing the Edge of 17 for somebody to walk out in as an entrance theme, I would be more than happy with that. I am just saying.
Oh, you're a Stevie Nixon fan.
Well, that's the only song I know from Stevie Nicks, so I
remember one song, and she just said, "I'm tired," and I said, "I can relate to the song so much." But Stevie Turner, they tell him that he's reinstated. Mr. Stone has a hard time to tell him, like, yeah, but you can't go to Heatwave. So Stevie tells him, and Aura's like, that's cool, but I have a match tonight against Miles Bourne. That's fine. Cool. And then these two argue. So it's hilarious because Robert Stone says, I'm gonna tell Ava. And Nick Stevie is like, well, I don't care. So funny stuff there. Let's talk about this one match and then we're gonna do a commercial. Izzy Dame going against Bristly Reese. Brindley Reese. There we go. I like Brindley Reese. You know, she's always in a good mood. I like that. You know, like
we were talking in the chat, and Dice had mentioned how she and Thea Hale look very similar. I had said, oh, I thought you were going to say they act very similar because Brindley acts exactly how Thea did when she first was introduced to the NXT universe.
Because she's so hyper and over positive.
Yes.
And you know what's funny? Like when he said they look alike, but maybe it's because, you know, I watch it enough and I know Dice says he'll watch it.
I would think like maybe just the hair and the complexion, but there's some notable differences in their appearance.
Yeah, because you could tell them apart. I think it's just really the hair and maybe even the height to an extent. Because I don't know how tall Reese is. Because I know Thea's a very, you know, she's a small girl. She's like maybe what, 5'1" or something like that. But they have a match, Izzy Dame and her. It's okay. It's fine. They put Izzy Dame out there. She showcase her ability. She had a vignette last week. Showcase. I had volleyball when I was in high school, and I sucked. So when she was hitting the ball and it said 60 mile per hour or like 82 mile per hour, I said, "Oh no, I would have moved." Like, you know, someone, and she's a big girl too. She like 5'11", 6 feet or something like that. She's a tall girl.
Who?
Go ahead.
No, I was asking who are you saying is tall because I just checked to see how tall Brindley and Thea are.
Oh, Izzy Dame.
Yeah, Izzy's a tall one. Brindley's 5'8", Thea is 5'5".
Wow. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That I thought Thea was much smaller than that, and you said how tall?
And Izzy is 5'10".
5'10". Oh, that's a big girl. Yeah, no, she's tall. She's a tall girl. But you know, match was fine. You know, you put Izzy Dame out there. Looked like they want to do something with her, so.
Listen, like I keep saying, they want to keep doing something with her because the only reason why she was relevant in NXT got drafted to Monday Night Raw. Right. And you know what? Yeah. And also now she's got a thing going on with Tatum.
That's going to be interesting, right? Because George put in the chat, Tatum has an obsession with Izzy Dame. What's up with that? I don't know. I am too frightened to even go near Tatum Paxton. Did you see this thing on social media? I saw this on Instagram and I saw it on Twitter. But there's a thing, and we'll get a little bit more into the match, you know, get your thoughts on the match. But there was Tatum Paxley sitting by herself, and then
Wendy Choo puts her hand on hers, and then they start sitting together closely. That's going to be a terrifying tag team. I will say that right now. If they team up together, that's going to be horrifying.
I'm not gonna lie, I had to change my underwears because I was very petrified of this tag team here, potential tag team anyway, but. Like George mentioned, Tatum is obsessed with Izzy Dame. I don't know what's going on, but Izzy, and it was crazy because I feel like the whole Tatum Paxley character, although she's obsessed, like she was obsessed with Lyra Valkyria, I felt like for a period Tatum was just obsessed with anyone who had championship gold. Like she was obsessed with.
Well, that's what they had established when she turned on Lyra after losing. She was just obsessed with the belt, not with her per se. I was just grateful that they didn't turn it into she turns on her and then winds up winning the belt from her. Because Tatum is a good wrestler. She's just not ready for that belt yet.
No, I don't think she's ready. And I think she's really like, you know what I like about her character? Well, not even just her character. What I like about Tatum is that she really found something that worked for her. You know, I remember when the beginning. Yes, and she really gets this character. I mean, she really. You know, I don't think she's a creepy girl in real life, but I'm just saying the character herself is very creepy. Like when she's contorting and she's behind the ropes like this, looking up, and you see even Izzy Dame, who probably could squash her, but is very creeped out by her. I do want to highlight, you know, I feel like this has been UPR fan for many, many years, but Charmaine Marie, how are you? She says hello, kisses. This have nothing to do with NXT, but she wanted us to know that AEW is whack. Well, thank you for letting us know.
The
that.
only thing I want to say about them being whack is the fact that they have long ass pay-per-views that you have to pay $25 to $50 some dollars depending where you're ordering it from. On the off chance they don't have it playing in a theater or in a Dave and Buster's, and have it go on for like 4 to 5 hours in one night. I'm like, bro, this is the reason why WWE stopped doing that ages ago.
Yep.
A, because it takes too long, and B, why do y'all gotta keep doing it on Sundays? People gotta go to work the next day.
They were out here in New York, and I was interested in going because I've never been to an AEW show, and I hope to still go to an AEW show. So they're out here in the USB Arena out here in Long Island. And I mean, I didn't have no money to go anyway, but I sat there and said, yeah, I would hate to have to leave at 12 at night just to go home. Because look, I love wrestling. I mean, I'm wearing a wrestler shirt right here, Bret the Hitman Hart, and I'm talking about
I'm wearing wrestling merch myself too.
She's
I mean,
wearing
it's not like a professional, like on
It's
TV. Well, I mean, now on the CW, you can. NWA. But
NWA.
yeah, no, when myself, the executive consultant, David, and Mike Knox, and I all went to an All Elite Dynamite taping for this one for Sammy Guevara calls Dan Lambert a fat face dipshit. We left after a very long time of being in there. We were tired, so I understand.
100%. But let me get your thoughts here about this match with Izzy Dame and Miss Reese.
I mean, match was fine. It just pushed Izzy, gave her the win, made her look strong, and then Brinley keeps losing. They're probably going to do something with her to make her be like, oh, I can't keep being positive all the time because it's just not working, which is how she feels now when she went into the back with Idris and Malik. The match was fine. It just did what it needed to do. I mean, I like Brinley, but I really don't care for Izzy. She wrestles fine. It's just she's boring to me. And I think maybe they put her with Tatum as far as having a little storyline so she can be a little more entertaining, but it's not working for me.
I think when you talk, you did talk about pairing her up with Tatum. I would say give it a little time because it's just brand new. I mean, I did like the pairing with her and Kiana. I liked it because it gave her a heavy to work with, and now that, like how you mentioned, that she's been called up, now she's on her own. She might need something to just give her a little bit of a little seasoning, if you will. And I say seasoning meaning what the character, and give her something to work with is what I'm trying to get at. We're going to talk about some segments and some matches. We're going to play a commercial. I do want to highlight real quick. Good Chris in the chat said Roxanne is 5'1". He wanted us to know that. Thank you, sir. George said Wendy Choo and Tatum Paxley, Shawn Michaels, bring back the NXT women tag team. I wouldn't even bring them back. I have a thought what those tag team titles can do. Well, I'll save it for later. I'll save my thoughts. And he also says Mercedes Moné 2 belts in AEW, copying WWE because WWE did that. That is what one George Lewis said. We're going to play a commercial. We're going to be back talking more NXT. We want to say thank you guys for watching us on Unpopular Review, the NXT review show. So hiccups, play a commercial, and we'll be back after these words.
Previously on the Mike Knox Show.
Will, so to speak, didn't quite land. It didn't stick to landing. So where does this go? With a faction like this, what are they? Who are they? They look completely like you need Jesus right now to stop them. And Jonathan Horatio Rodriguez, Tom Brady, Cena's not here. That's what storytelling is. You can go look up a novel. You can go look up any film. Even if a film is 2 hours and 45 minutes long, that don't mean it's not a great film. It just means a long-ass movie. And this is great. This is, again, the art of storytelling. We found out later that Paul Heyman was promised that nothing would ever happen in CM Punk, the Tribal Chief. Then we find out the Tribal Chief's not coming back. Paul's like, like this is bizarre. This is the best storyline in wrestling history. Okay? The NWO, pretty fucking awesome storyline. I cannot lie. The thing that Poker knew wasn't that bad in the first place. I said it. This is Unpopular Review. I said it to Dice off air. I'm saying it now, DJ. I say a lot of shit I just really mean, but something I just won't bring up. I never understood wrestling fans being mad at that.
Hold on here. Is it a barbershop? Is this the barbershop? It's the barbershop. Yeah, I mean, we can't talk straight in the barbershop. Then where can we talk straight? We can't talk straight nowhere else. You know, this ain't nothing but healthy conversation.
That was quite the commercial. That is Mike Knox. You can catch him on Mondays at 6 p.m. on the dot. He's talking about everything. He's talking about WWE. He's talking about AEW, some news, all that stuff. You can catch the good man on Mondays at 6 p.m. It is Barbershop Talk. Mike Knox, 6 p.m. We want to thank you guys. Well, you're watching Unpopular Review, the NXT review show. It's a Tuesday night, and we're talking NXT. We got good Chris in the chat. He, I guess, agreed with you. He said Izzy Dame is boring. We have New H Man says, okay, I'm back in. Glad that you are back, New H Man. Solo and Tom, I'm sorry. We got Solo and Tama and Tonga and Jacob attacked Paul Heyman, and the New York crowd was. I was there. Yes, we were very upset. We were saying, fuck you, Solo. I actually screamed.
First of all, you did not put your hands on a Hall of Famer like Paul Heyman. And the fact that you thought he was really going to acknowledge your ass as the tribal chief just because you put yourself there, that was never going to happen. He has his loyalty.
And also, too,
and now we can understand why Jimmy did what he did to Jay, because he was like, I didn't want this to happen to you. That could have been you. And now it's happened to Solo because the last tribal chief said that was going to be the new tribal chief, that was the tribal chief heir. Look at it now.
Great point from the Rustling Doll. We got Z, the sounds.
I saw it online, so it's not my original thinking. So I will give credit to the post. I found it online.
Want to give a shout out to the one half of the SmackDown crew, Z, the sound that was on with him on.
And
Saturday.
A quick shout out to him because he put in the chat and it made me so happy. Because I always say that all the fathers in our Unpopular Review group chat love kissing Dominic Mysterio's ass for some reason. He put creepy. Wesley is greater than Dominic Mysterio. I was just like,
he is though, but he's not lying. I think that is someone who's actually watching the product. I think when a lot of people drink bias juice, they just don't know anything. So that's what happens. You have to really get where you were going to talk about Wesley, but shout out to Z. He works his ass off. He does these great commercials, graphics. Probably the hardest working guy in Unpopular Review. I do hold a grudge against him because every chance he get, he will mention Bill Goldberg, and he knows that just gives me hives. So very rude, Z. But shout out to him. I want to give the man his flowers. Good job, sir. Let's talk about Chase U. They had a segment, and I rolled my eyes immediately. I rolled my eyes because, Chase U, when they have something good, they treat it like trash. I'm talking about JC Jane. I'm going to always sit there every chance I get. So I immediately rolled my eyes, and I went to do something else, like pick up a piece of dust. Because Chase U just pisses me off.
Well,
but they have a segment. Yes.
Well, I mean, the thing is with this segment, Duke Hudson and Ridge Holland are arguing, and he says that they had to help beat the OC from Ridge interfering, and then he hands the photo to Andre, much to
very disappointing, Duke.
Annoyance. And he says that he knew all along that Ridge Holland was up to no good. And Rich said that he was just trying to help. And Andre says for Ridge Holland to stay back when they wrestle at Heatwave.
The nerve of Andre Chase to sit here and punish someone for trying to help him. I just can't believe Andre Chase. Once again, drinking and spending money. And meanwhile, you're going to punish this guy. Where's this guy's punishment? Why hasn't Andre Chase something happened to Andre Chase? Why hasn't he been his powers been revoked? But instead he could just do whatever. I didn't like any of this.
Well, the person who would be in charge of revoking his power is busy trying to take care of Brooks Jensen from possibly going mentally insane right now.
Shawn Michaels, look, you guys, every chance you guys get, tell me how great Shawn Michaels is. But honestly, he's not doing a good job. Where's the ramifications for Andre Chase? I'll wait. No, matter of fact, I don't have time to wait. So I'm going to move on. That's what I do. Let's talk about this segment. We have Roxanne Perez. She comes out with security. Lola Vice comes out. They have a good back and forth here. And I feel like this is I don't want to say the most mic time that Lola got, but this was a chance for her to really showcase a little bit of emotion here. So Roxanne, she talks about how she's the prodigy. She talks about just beating a lot of people. And tells her that she mentions to Lola that this is not MMA. I saw the match with you and Shayna, and she admitted that she wouldn't last long with Shayna, but she said this is not an MMA match. It's not Bellator. This is a wrestling match, and I'm going to out wrestle you, and I'm going to win. This one, Lola gets the mic, and she says, "You talk about your sacrifice. You talk about making the 6-hour bus rides to Booker T's school." But she said that she's also made sacrifice. She talked about her mom. She mentioned her mother was pregnant with her, and she was, I guess, a black belt, right? So, I mean, shout out to her. Her mother is a badass, and she says she was pregnant with her when she was getting her black belt. She mentioned all this. She's been a fighter all her life, and she mentioned that she was training for the Olympics, but her mom got sick. And she went to MMA to make money so she could support her family. And she talked about when she goes in to Heatwave this Sunday, she's going to win the championship and say, "Mom, I did it." She said stuff in Spanish, and I'm not even going to try to say that stuff in Spanish because I would butcher it. But she said these things. Roxanne says, "Oh, I didn't know any of that." But you just like the others, everyone who thinks they're going to make this call to their family and say, "I'm the women's champion. I do this. I crush dreams and I'm going to beat you." And she says that's not her reality and it won't happen. I thought it was some really good stuff. I do have to sit here and say the security guards in WWE, or maybe in wrestling in general, are just so freaking useless. Like, one of the guys got kicked one time. Now, look, I'm not going to lie to you.
You say useless. I would have said for guys that have a lot of muscle that they bring in,
yeah,
they surely act like someone's kick is really, really lethal, even if it's not like a super hard looking kick.
Listen, it's Lola Vice. I'm not going to hold you. If she kicked me, I go to Nebraska, and I would hate to be there. I'm not going to lie. Anybody from Nebraska.
That woman kicked me, I'd probably go to Malaysia.
I don't even know where that's at. Is that on this planet?
Yes. Somewhere in Asia.
Oh, I'm not even going to lie. I thought it was Nick Cannon's kitchen.
No.
Oh.
I would never want to step foot in that kitchen, become baby mama number 20.
I thought he was on 25.
But
I hear you.
We don't know at this point.
I'm telling you, you guys are not ready for the Nick Cannon wars. But carry on. What did you think about this segment?
Well, the segment was very hard hitting and it's very eye-opening for those that aren't very familiar with the work of one Miss Lola Vice before she signed into WWE and made a name for herself. I mean, not everybody here that watches followed her career beforehand like Dice has, as he's discussed on our draft pick when he drafted Lola onto SmackDown. But promo was very hard hitting on her side. It was very nice to see her show some emotion, not just be like the uber confident, hides her emotions, is fine with just coming out, shaking her butt, showing that she can fight and all that too. But it kind of felt like a scene from a telenovela in a way.
Interesting point. And I'm glad that you mentioned too the emotion. That was the part I didn't include. So thank you for mentioning that. But yes, she started crying, and this was a different Lola. You mentioned before, like Lola, she'll come in, she's always smiling, she'll shake her hips. But this one, she had a lot of emotion, and I thought she did a pretty damn good job. I do want to highlight Z the Silence. He said the best promo from Lola, peeling the curtain back on her personal life. Been following her for years, and she spoke facts. I want to highlight George here. He said, "Yeah, I can see Lola Vice being champion. If she does win, I want to see how she does as champion before I can judge." He also agreed with Z. She was very emotional. When he mentioned it, she's very emotional. Lola's background knocked out the security guard. No, her kick knocked out the security guard. But I get what you're saying, dude. Roxanne looked spooked. And he says Lola came into WWE as a heel, and now she's a babyface. But that crowd really made her a babyface.
The crowd is what did that. I mean, even while she was still being a heel more in the beginning, it all started from Roxanne beating her in a match when Roxanne was still a babyface.
Yeah. And I feel like that was earlier this year, but I think it even goes back. If you're talking about
that was a little bit before.
Oh, that was before this year?
I think so, yeah.
So I So right, that sounds about right, because when she won the championship, that was in April. That was WrestleMania weekend. I was thinking like January, February, but she might have been. I forget. It's so hard to remember how long that Roxanne has since she's turned heel. But I was going to mention what Lola, and I only been in one NXT show out there in Florida, and I remember you before saying, because I think you've been to a few of them where Lola was there, and you was like, that crowd loves her. Like they cheer for her. And I saw it live on, I forgot who she faced with before she went into the finals and faced Kilani. But that crowd was cheering for her. That crowd, so that crowd totally turned her. We talk about that segment. Let's talk about Main Man Mensah. He had a match against Miles Bourne.
We finally got what we wanted.
Right.
Oro Mensah was not the punching bag tonight.
No.
The only thing I'm disappointed in is the fact that it had to be Miles Bourne that he had to prove that he wasn't a punching bag with. He should have proved it with the other resident punching bag in the No Quarter Catch crew, which is Damon Kemp.
See, I'm glad you
tried to sneak his way into helping Miles get a win by giving him brass knucks. And Charlie was telling him, dude, he's got it. Don't give him the knucks, you stupid ass.
I actually love Damian Kemp because I just feel like he reminds me of Dick Dastardly. Like everything goes wrong for him, so he'll act like he's come up with a great plan, and meanwhile it just does stuff. They're gonna kick him out. They were already treating him like dirt to begin with when they were warming up Miles, and there was like stretching him out, checking the muscles and everything like that. They were looking at Damian Kemp like a step-headed redheaded stepchild. They were like, dude, what are you here for? And even when they came out as a unit, and he just was like on the side. So yeah, no, I agree. Main Man Mensah, not much to really break down to this match, but I felt like this match was a reminder on what Mensah can do because he's been taking a lot of L's, and not wasn't a fan of that.
Too many L's, too many.
Right.
Too many L's, too many. I just checked the bracket. She went up against Danny Palmer before we're going up against Karma during the breakout tournament.
Good job there. But yeah, showcasing what he could do. There was a spot in this match here. I just wanted to highlight it here because he's done some tag match, like a lot of single matches. I feel like he's barely got any offense in. So in this match, seeing him springboard off the off the ropes, and he's hitting like a diving kick and showcasing what he can do. And I forgot his finish because once again, he barely gets any wins here when he hit the rolling kick. And I thought it was so cool on how it came out of nowhere. I thought it was good. I thought this match was it was all right. I'm not gonna sit here and say this match was like match of the night or anything like that, but it was just cool to see Mensah in his element and them showcasing his skills because the man got skills. That's why he's called Main Man Mensah. Booker T just don't give people good nicknames like that. He just don't do that. So he knows Miles Bourne lose, and it looked like there's gonna be what's the name of this? Because I was gonna call them New Catch Republic, but they're not New Catch Republic. They're
the No Quarter Catch crew.
You know why? Because they can't catch a break.
Well, I mean, they haven't been able to catch a break since their leader got released, and the fact that the person that they've been relying on the most to secure wins is their resident punching bag.
George wanted
to
help me out here. NQCC, so I guess the Q is for a quarter. Thank you. For that, he also said Aura is going to be at Heatwave and going to cost even. Yep. Yes.
I mean, he literally did yell that he's coming for Ethan after Heatwave, but he's probably going to find a way to sneak over there.
He also mentioned is still employed. Yes, he's still employed. This while he was on.
Yes, he is still employed. Surprisingly, they need a punching bag for the No Quarter Catch crew.
And
Miles can't be the punching bag.
And he also lets us know that Charles Dempsey was at a TNA. I saw the picture. That was cool.
I saw the clip. I think.
Oh, you saw the clip. Nice. I can only imagine. I mean, I really, and it's been a while since we had a TNA person on NXT, so I almost feel like. Do you think let me just switch it up here a little bit? Do you think on Heatwave somehow we get some kind of TNA, not invasion, I want to say, but some kind of TNA presence?
I would think possibly if I'm just gonna throw this out there. I'm gonna sort of throw this out there because people were having hope folks. People were just hoping that this was going to happen at the last NXT pay-per-view. But I would love to see the Rascals come in
Ooh.
or support of Wesley, or somehow help him achieve his goal of being NXT North American champion one more time. Listen, at some point we need a reunion with the Rascals. It's been a few years since the thing with Zachary Wentz, formerly known as Nash Carter, over there happened. We've let it go. We've forgotten about it. Let him come back.
And it's possible because they got a relationship with TNA, and I do appreciate, and I do want to throw this out real quick. I didn't even put this as notes, but I did want to talk about the Wesley Obafemi, apologies, that vignette that they had. And I thought it was well done. I mean, they showcased what Wesley gone through. He mentioned, I was a tag team wrestler, and my tag team partner was taken away from me, and I had to go on my own. I saw someone in the chat, in our private chat that we had, Dice, right? And he talked about how for a lot of people, when they lose their tag team partner, they are on the chopping block. It's like either do or die. And for a lot of people, they don't really adapt.
I pulled up exactly what he said because I was talking about this with him. He says, and I quote, "To see how Wes was able to thrive after his partner was released is nothing short of amazing. He was definitely nominated to be future endeavored, and he made the fans care, and it was organic and undeniable."
No, and 100%, and I agree. And
that from someone that was a father in the chat, because, like I keep saying, the fathers in the chat like to kiss Dominic Mysterio's ass for some reason. He doesn't, and for that, I'm thankful.
There you go.
Anyone who does that right now is Liv Morgan, and I'm going to give her all the flowers in the world for being able to say some of the stuff she says about him with a straight face. The fact that she called him the most gorgeous man in WWE and didn't throw up. I was impressed.
I'm not even going to hold
that man is not even good looking. He wouldn't be in my top 10, 20, 30, or 50, or 100.
We did an episode of Big Pop, and I said it only one time, and I said I'll never say it again. But she calls him a daddy Dom, and I think when the words left my mouth, I said I will never do that again. So there you go. You've heard it twice, and that would be a never again thing. Next match that we got here is Wendy Choo against Carlee Bright. Wendy Choo, I forget if 2 weeks ago she attacked Carlee Bright or her friend
Kendall Gray.
Yes, I forget which one, but I know she attacked one of them.
She attacked Kendall.
She did attack. Okay. So this lead to a match. Look, I mean, Carlee, she got some offense out there. She looked pretty solid. There was a handspring move that she did that was cute. But Wendy Choo dominated her. She went out there. She's the undead character or the zombie character. She get a move, and she was solid.
I would just call her at this point like a literal living nightmare, so to speak. We have the American Nightmare in the main roster. Now we have the
living nightmare.
Yes. I was trying to see if I can think of another way to say it, but that's just the only other way.
So what you're saying is WWE is just full of nightmares. I love it. Like just on SmackDown, the American Nightmare, and this one, the Living Nightmare. Someone's gonna pitch that idea. Yes, but this match did what it had to do. I mean, it didn't go wrong.
Maybe they could call that her finisher name, the Living Nightmare, since it makes you want to tap out and wake up.
Well, the Living Nightmare is if you leave a Nick Cannon CD on repeat, and I will always throw that out there because then your ears start bleeding, and then you're looking at the ceiling, just begging for mercy. That's my Nick Cannon joke for the day. I'm gonna give myself a few points for that because that was damn good. But
speaking of jokes, I'm just gonna say this out there real quickly. We had Gallus brawling with Tyriek, Igwe, and Tyson Dupont because they were supposed to have a match, but they didn't want to wait because they got nothing better to do. So they're like, let's just go and attack them now because we're bored and we have no respect for anybody in the locker room because all the youngins are back there and all they care about is clout, etc., etc. Yeah. Boy, shut up. You just mad because these people are actually relevant. People pay attention to them, and nobody pays attention to y'all because y'all are boring, even with your coffee being your mouthpiece.
So that match don't happen. Because it was advertised for tonight, right? And they said, that's not gonna happen. I don't know if someone was on the ground. Who was on the ground? I didn't even see who was on the ground. Was that Gallus?
I can't even remember.
There we go.
It was that boring.
So,
but all I will say is for them to complain that these people, all they want is to get clout and be popular and relevant, and that's destroying the wrestling name. Now that's a big part of how people remember you and how they're interested and want to keep paying attention. It's all about advertising. And what do y'all do? Y'all can't even cut a decent promo to save your life, and y'all are so damn boring. Joe Coffey can't even make y'all entertaining.
We got George in the chat. He says Liv Morgan cost Dominic his match against his dad and on Raw, and she says she will fix it, like Bob the Builder.
What are you gonna do? Are you gonna stop him from doing the 619 so Dominic can finally get a win on his father for the first time?
It's ridiculous it's honestly ridiculous that Dominic has not beaten this deadbeat dad yet. But one day
when that happens, I think it'll be like his retirement match or something.
I wish it was just tonight, but it is what it is. Thank you. You know my feelings towards Mysterio. Yes, yeah. I know Mysterio.
And every other father in the UPR chat.
Oh no, my dislike for him is different. I don't know why they dislike him.
I know your dislike for him is y'all. Most of y'all dislike him in the chat because y'all call him a deadbeat dad.
He is. What does he do? What did he do for Dom?
Make him a thing in the WWE in the first place.
I think it's the talents of Dominic Mysterio. I don't like disagreeing with you.
Dominic
Huh?
He trained Dominic.
What I explain why he has such a bad run in the beginning. Now that he's been under the tutelage of Rhea Ripley, I'm not going to give any credit to the other two guys, but it's really just Dominic has grown into his own. Good job, Dominic Mysterio. And we even got here. I'm sorry. I wanted to highlight his comment. Oh, that messed up. He says, even Liv Morgan was in the Judgment Day clubhouse with Finn Balor. Yeah, we saw that. Let's get into the segment, and then we'll just play one more commercial and then finish up the show here. Brooke Jensen. Let's talk about this Brooke Jensen video here. I'm not going to lie to you, Wrestling Doll. I found this shit hilarious. I was laughing because this guy for the last few weeks has been trying to sneak in. He's been trying to always find a way. I don't know if we even still have it here, where he was at the announce table and we do. Look at this. He shook Vic Joseph. Look at him. Looked like he just saw a water bug or something like that.
They both saw ghosts, and his name was Brooks Jensen.
Oh, Brooke Jensen has been causing hell. He's been on social media. I think there's one time he wrote that something about an indie show. His contract was coming up, but then Shawn Michaels is on there and he says, no, his contract is not up. And he's just been spiraling out of control. Each video you see him drinking, he's drinking a lot. I mean, there's one video he said, you know how I like my Jack Daniels? And I said, it looked like it's like 10 in the morning. How are you drinking like that?
You'd be surprised. There are people that drink various times in the day, depending where you're at. Yeah. But Shawn Michaels does invite Brooks to NXT next week to meet with him and Ava to discuss his future.
Yep, they're going to discuss his future. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes. This Brooke Jensen, I don't even want to sit here and say like this has been like my favorite storyline or anything like that. But it's just been comical with some of the stuff. Like I don't necessarily follow him on social media, so every now and then it's sent my way or direction. And when I see it, I kind of chuckle when I see it because I'm like, what is going on with my guy? Like, he hasn't been the same since the breakup between him and Josh Briggs and Fallon Henley. We'll talk about her a little later. So he's really been falling on hard times. What was it, 2 weeks ago that they put him in a black van and get ready to take him away?
Probably. I don't even remember.
So there we go. We have that. And we're going to talk about these final segments, and we're going to call it a show, and we're going to have a prediction on Heatwave. I know there was one match added, but we're just going to, since I don't have the graphic for it, we'll just mention it. But we are going to play. That was rude. My stomach just belched. We're going to play a commercial, and we'll be right back after these words.
Doesn't Lyra Valkyria do something like
Spider-Man just crawling up on the side of a building?
She does something. There you go. That should do Ricochet. I feel like she can get more over than Ricochet. I truly do.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Her song.
Her song is over.
sometimes it starts with the song and then it goes into your wrestling ability.
Like
right?
Swerve.
Like Swerve, because Swerve was not doing anything until everybody really started paying attention to his song, and then people started paying attention to his song, and then from his song, he was able to do everything else. The same thing with Jey Uso. I think Lyra Valkyria has a song, but she needs to change, one, her outfit, and two, her pose. That pose is stupid.
What's that pose again?
She looks like the cat on the back of a window shield. You know, help me. Like,
Show me what does Lyra Valkyria do again? And what does Randy Orton do? Aren't they the same thing?
No, it's not. One's cool.
Oh, one's cool.
Oh shit! I didn't even realize the commercial was over. I thought there was like a whole bunch of them. But that is UPR Shorts. You can catch one, the executive consultant and Big Daddy Cool. They make shorts. They talk about many things and many topics in wrestling. That was a commercial. You can catch it on YouTube, TikTok, and I believe on Instagram. Let's keep moving on. Let's keep this truck going. We had Carmen Petrovich. Good job. I did my best. I deserve at least 5 points. Thank you.
You did your best, as did Katie did when doing the prediction for Forbidden Door with the Japanese name.
Oh, I was gonna say we all tried with those names. That's why.
I was out. Like I couldn't come on to record, so if I were able to, I would have come on to help out because I do know how to pronounce a good portion of names growing up watching anime and all that fun stuff. So
that is fantastic. Use your talents. Next time we're gonna make sure we have your time. Matter of fact, we'll just have you in the background. We'll have you like voice over, so when someone try to say something, you just go like, "No, it's," and then you say the actual name. So good job, Sabrina Estella. But we have Carmen going against Jasmine Nix. But I don't want to talk about Jasmine next. I want to talk about how JC Jane came out and made sure things was well. Fine match. Carmen is pretty damn good, though. I do want to talk about Carmen. I've seen some of her stuff, but I got to actually see her in this one-on-one. And I was impressed with her in-ring ability. I was like, oh, she's pretty damn good. Jasmine's not bad either. I think she's very talented.
She's still learning. She's still learning.
Yeah. She's still learning the ropes. That's why I think they paired her and JC together. But I thought she was pretty solid in there. You know, Carmen does Carmen things. She does some kicks, some grapples. JC's trying to help. I didn't appreciate Carmen stepping on JC's hands. She's already hurt. Why would you do that any further? Jasmine sees this, hits her with the Pele. Boom! 1, 2, 3. That is how it's done. Carmen should have been paying attention. She didn't pay attention, and that's why she got kicked by Jasmine. But I also want to talk about Fallon Henley. She was in the back, and she tapped Mad Dog. What is going on, sir? How are you? How is the equipment? But I do like that Fallon was watching in the back. This looked like this is going to be a trio. And he wanted to mention that yes, she was clapping. Now, George mentioned something about these women tag team titles. He said, hey, you guys should bring, not us, that they should bring back the NXT tag team titles. No, I think that they should keep the one titles that they got, let them float. But I sit here and suggest that the champions should be.
Listen, George, as someone who loves women wrestling and started watching WWE because of women's wrestling, those tag belts are cursed, and they have been for a while. I would say after the pandemic era is when they started to really become cursed, especially the ones down in NXT really became cursed. And it's funny because when we did our prediction for Clash of the Castle, most of us, if not none of us, saw Alba and Isla winning, which it was nice that somebody from Scotland actually won the belts. But they did say around a year ago that they did do something to those belts, that they cursed them and they were going to find their way back home. And they did. They're still the unholy union, so.
Yes. George, he wanted to say Carmen went to Ava and said she wants to face both JC and Jasmine. Absolutely.
Yeah, in a team. And she got Ariana Ariana had said that she's going to help because Ava said, oh, your friend already said that. And she was like, friend, wait, who are you talking about? And then it's Ariana, like, I can't wait, my princess. I'm just like, oh no.
I wish she'd just mind her business.
Georgina, part 2 all over again.
Where is Georgina?
Out with an injury.
Oh man. Send her best wishes. And now she want to take it out on
on
JC Jane. Look, I see stuff in here. I see George. He's saying there. Oh no, matter of fact, Z. I'm sorry, because I'm always expecting George to disagree with me because that's his favorite pastime. Disagree with Jack. Not a fan of that, but I understand George. But Z says, well, let's fire and down keep them because they're terrible on the main roster.
They're not terrible. They just been underutilized.
I don't think they have a lot of teams.
They are very talented.
I appreciate the one thing I do appreciate. Like, I'm not just trying to say this to like suck up, but I do appreciate them trying. One of my biggest things when I watch wrestling is these championships should feel important. Now, I just don't think they have a lot of teams, and it makes it hard. That's why
they don't have enough teams. They don't let people like take time and like build. They just have too many makeshift teams, and that's why it doesn't feel like now. Before, the belts felt more important because there were teams that have been working together for a few years or people that have been working together for a few months, and it felt like it had been years. But now it doesn't feel that way because there aren't as many teams up there.
No. They didn't have a lot of teams to begin with, even when they had the championship. I mean, they had a few teams. I mean, you had
more solid teams,
you had like Sasha and Bailey
to the belts.
You had they put a team together. I think it was the same year, Nikki and I think the following year, Nikki and Alexa. They didn't always have a lot of teams. And that was always the problem. Matter of fact, there was a period of time I wasn't open for this, but I'm a little bit more open for it because I think you get more use out of it if you're having a secondary title for the women's division. They always have it. Like right now, I like that they're having they do now. I'm sorry, forgive me. The North American Women's Championship.
I've been saying it for ages.
There we go. But we got Wendy and Kansas. That's right. That is right. We got Groot. We got Groot. I mean, he's taking the time out from saving the galaxy to be in the chat. Matter of fact, I don't know if that's Groot. That's an acorn. So I think this guy's a fraud. That's a who?
That's a pine cone.
Oh, it's a cone. I'm sorry. I almost nailed it. But I don't think that's
okay. It's okay. I've seen a lot of pine cones like from time to time.
Well, thank you for the correction here. But my point is that's not a tree. That's a pine cone. I'm going to be sure I got this right.
A pine cone. I mean, they do grow in the tree, so.
No, I think
it's essentially a giant seed.
We got I'm going to read that. We got here. George wanted to say, Kat and Katrina are probably mad because Trick put Ethan through a table. Good.
Like, as much as I love Ethan Page, he does deserve getting put through the table for all the shit.
He does.
He's a heel. That's what he's supposed to do. And then people are saying like, "Oh, put the belt on him."
No,
y'all let him cook.
No, I wouldn't have done that. I mean, right now, Trick's run right now, I wouldn't disturb it for Ethan Page, and not even because Ethan Page is not it's terrible. I think him being picked up, him being in NXT is a great fit. But to just abruptly end the Trick Williams run just for Ethan Page. Absolutely
and
not.
People have been wanting it for a hot minute now.
No.
Absolutely not.
No. And let Ethan Page just be down there. Let him have a run. Could he eventually be a champion? Sure. Is it right now? No, not right now.
And if it's not the NXT championship, he'll probably go after the North American championship eventually.
Listen, and we're going to talk about prediction, but if he's going against one Obafemi is throwing him right back to Canada because he is Canadian.
Yes, he is.
He'll just pick him up and just say, throw. But yeah, that was the segment there. We have Axiom and Nathan Frazier. They're preparing for their tag team match against Chase U.
Well, more so, Axiom is worried that Nathan's too busy being focused on his match coming up on Speed.
Nathan Frazier has the most side missions. He be having the most side missions. Like this guy, every time Axiom is like, yo, let's prep for this or let's do this. Let's do a team activity. Bro be like, yeah, no, I got this thing going. I'm going for NXT Heritage Cup. I'm going for the Speed. What are we doing here? Like, what is happening?
We're writing the story that Axiom and Nathan Frazier are going to lose the belts at Heatwave and are going to split as a team.
I hope it's not towards Chase U. Absolutely not. I need to make sure that this don't happen. I'm got my flight going to Canada. So if you don't hear from me, you know what I'm at. I'll be wearing the maple leaf there to make sure that this don't happen. I'm very upset at this that you said this out loud. Right now, I just feel
I'm only saying that because that's how the story is looking.
I don't like the story.
That is not what I want.
Thank you.
I'm just saying that's how it looks.
You know what this looked like? I'm going to tell you right now. It looked like the Knicks when they tried to play basketball. Trash. I am not happy with any of this, but I got here Groot, who's not really Groot, who I guess he's saying he should drop the championship to Moose, meaning Obafemi, unless he's talking about, almost said Wesley. I'm sorry. Trick Williams. Please explain who you should be dropping championship. He also said, I did enjoy chicken teriyaki. Oh, no, that's New Age Man said, I enjoy chicken teriyaki, mixed vegetable, and mashed potato. That sounds very good. I'm going to hold you. I don't like mashed potatoes, but everything else sounds good. Chase U for the win. You know, for Groot, he's saying a lot. I'm snitching on Cat and Shay because they said last week they want Ethan Page to be champion. Well,
Look,
you know,
they like Ethan Page. That's their opinion, and I respect that, and we know how Jack feels, and he will say his things about them depending on what they say. He will be champion one day, just not now. And when that day comes, me and them will jump up for joy because we do love Ethan Page, and he should have at least gotten a singles run at some point in his AEW career. I am just saying.
How come, like, when I root for JC, everyone yells at me, but you guys get all the praise? I don't get you guys in the chat. I'm feeling very hurt.
Oh, I support you at times when you talk about JC. It's just some of the stuff she does is questionable.
I don't know what you mean. I think she does. All she does is win. And that's what we appreciate here on the Tuesday Night Crew. But we did talk about Axiom and Frazier. So, yeah, they look like they're going through Splitsville. But let's talk about this last segment here. And then we're going to
contract signing with no general manager to be seen.
Please take the floor. Lead the way, please.
I mean, that was weird to have a contract signing with no manager. But basically, everybody's out in the ring. Trick Williams opens up by saying he's going to win at Heatwave, like as most champions would say. Ethan says that Trick will bring the same energy no matter the amount of the opponents. He says that Trick is probably the hottest thing in WWE right now. He says that the swagger he's seeing is the same that he saw in Battleground, and that Trick can't treat this match like he did their one-on-one at Battleground because he says he doesn't even need to beat Trick to win to take the title from him.
Mm-hmm.
Trick says his back's always against the wall. He always comes through. He admits what no one will probably admit. He has less experience than anyone else to hold the title, with Shawn Spears cutting him off. He says that he likes the emotion because it's the emotional nature that got Trick Williams pinned last week, which is probably one of the reasons why he got put into this match, as George is asking what he did to be in this match. They had a number one contenders match for it, and the winner wasn't pinned properly or determined properly, so they were going to make it a triple threat, and they turned into a fatal four-way. And he said, and Shawn Spears says that Javon's just happy to be there until he gets the mic. He reminds him that this is his first PLA, and that he compares Evans to the pro sports teams that makes it to the Super Bowls or the NBA Finals or the World Series, but has no choice. And he says that, and Javon says that everyone is holding his age against him before admitting that he is nervous but excited. And then he asks Spears, how much experience do you have holding the title?
No.
He technically doesn't really have any. And then Spears asks Trick if he heard what Evan said, which is walking out of Heatwave with the belt. And he says that they both have beaten Javon in single and matches before, and after Javon and Spears exchange some words, it gets physical, and Trick Williams puts Ethan Page through a table. Javon does the same things to Spears, and then he stares at the title until Trick grabs it, and that's the end of the show.
That's the end of the show. I thought it was fine. I feel like your traditional contract signing. They're going to brawl at the end. Someone's going to go through a table. Everyone's going to talk their piece and say why I should be champion. I kind of did like the stuff that Ethan and Shawn Spears did, where they were both talking like they seem like these evil villains, right? And they're like, yeah, but then, because they try to play mind games.
They're villains that are making them seem like vigilantes, like they're trying to justify their things that they say. It kind of feels like watching an episode of Dexter.
Oh, see, I got so psyched because I thought you was going to talk about Dexter's Laboratory, but I was like, right, you mean the show that was on, like, I think it was on Showtime or something like that.
Yes, the TV show that also ultimately inspired someone to kill somebody in that manner.
Eesh. Well, that's very. I honestly thought you were going to use a wrestling fact and say, because I heard that was the inspiration for Dexter Loomis, at least the name. But once I heard that part, I was like,
if it is, then I can see it now. I mean, I just started watching it, so I can totally understand that.
Good stuff there. Wrestling Doll. We are at the end of the show. We're going to do. Oh, see, I know exactly who this is now. When I see there is the coin, shout out to one of the hosts for Unpopular Review. There is the coin. That was a shot at me. I knew exactly what that was at. And Willow Nightingale is cool. She's fantastic. I've seen her once or twice at HOG. She's fantastic. So good for her. I did want to highlight some H-Man because H-Man, he's in the chat, so I like to highlight his comments. But he said, who likes oatmeal? Love oatmeal. Fantastic. I had it this morning. You don't like oatmeal?
No, it's too weird. I can't eat it. I
It's
can't
too
eat
weird.
it. It's too weird.
That's fine. That's
Too
fine. Look,
mushy. I can't.
it's funny. I can't eat peas, so who am I to judge here? Okay, so we got here. Z is letting it be known here. I need to hype it up, but there's a Matt Riddle interview coming up, and it's going to be hosted by Mike Knox. So continue to follow Unpopular Review. We have so much great things going on here. And I want to thank you guys in the chat. It is 11:30 at night, and you guys are up with us talking some professional wrestling, and we appreciate that. And I want to say thank you guys. We hope you hit that like button. We hope you hit that subscribe button. We hope that you had a good old jolly time.
Hope you press that bell so you can be notified whenever we put out videos or whenever we go live.
I mean, click the bell. Like, what are we doing anymore? We also got a new H-Man who says he does like oatmeal. He says, who like waffles? This guy's asking the big, heaviest questions here. But I do sit here and say French toast, pancakes, then waffles, if I had to rank them. So, boom. Do you want to rank some stuff here? Do you want to rank them? Do you like waffles? Answer the man's question.
Waffles, pancakes, French toast.
I'm starting to realize that the teamwork here, the dynamic here.
Listen, you know what they say, opposites attract.
You are fantastic. I wouldn't want to work with anybody else on Tuesday. If I did have to work with someone, I would be very upset if it wasn't you. So there we go. We are a team. We are the AWA Tag Team Championships. We're not the belts. We are the champions. God, I mess up when I say these things. Let's get some of these predictions out the way. Let's play some music. Like let's. I feel like a lot of this music will get us copyright. Why is Scooby doing the fucking thing in here? Someone did that to really make me upset because I'm so upset, Wrestling Dog.
Well, when you talk about things you don't like up here, it's bound to get left in here to be used by someone else later on.
My co-host here, I feel like I get disrespected on the daily. We got Z who mentions Goldberg. Someone puts Scooby-Doo, and I bet it's no Scooby-Doo in no one else's room but ours. We got Groot here. He says
Mangu, yuca, then French toast, which is a little odd because I've never heard eating mangu or yuca for breakfast, but that's just me.
French toast all above all. Good job, Z. He wanted to say good way to kiss. No, Stella don't kiss up. Let me tell you something about Stella. I've worked with her a long period of time. When she don't like something, she'll let you know.
Yes, I will.
She will let you know. I know this because
Have you not noticed over the last few years since I started being on UPR how much I don't really, but would prefer him to come back because Solo is a sucky ass tribal chief, but the OG tribal chief. And if I'm saying I want him to come back, even though I would like him to recover for a bit, that means something.
That does. And that really does mean a lot because for the longest time, she would sit there and, she was not a fan of her. We threw up the one. Listen, I met.
You made me throw up the one time while predicting for a pay-per-view.
I met you one time. We went to the Royal Rumble, which was a great time.
No, this was way before.
I know. I totally understand. but she did throw up the ones, but she didn't use the index finger. She used a certain finger that Stone Cold is famous for. I didn't want to. There we go. You heard me. But that's
the bottom line.
And that's the bottom line because Sabrina Estella said so. Maybe that we can make that a shirt somehow, some way. I wish the executive consultant was more creative, got off his ass, and started making some merch for us because there's a lot of great talent here in Unpopular Review. We have some great catchphrases. We have some great stuff here, and we should have that going. I'm going to complain to the executive consultant. I am going to write a white woman letter, so that means it's definitely going to get to him. But let's talk about these predictions. There's supposed to be 5 matches, but they added 1. They added the tag team match. I don't have a graphic here, so please forgive me here, folks. But it is going to be Ariana Grace and Carmen going against going against Jasmine Nix and JC Jane. That means I will be watching that. That's going to be on the pre-show, and I'm going to go with JC Jane and Jasmine Nix. They should go over. They should win. I don't see why.
They have a formidable chemistry as far as working.
They're the future women tag team champions.
So based on all that, I think that they will take the win as well. And I like Carmen, and Ariana makes me laugh at how stupid she acts, but that's about it.
No, I don't. I don't like it. As soon as you're on the opposite side of JC Jane, I've already booed you. And I sit here and say, once they take out these 2 individuals, they're going to take the tag team championships. And when they bring them to NXT, I want everyone to hear me when I say this. I don't want you guys cheering for JC Jane. There's not enough room for you on the Jane train. It's a 1-seater. So that means that it will take off, leave the station. And once it leaves the station, you are stranded there. And you might have to wait a whole hour for another train. And that will delay you to go to work. So I sit here and say, I said my piece. Let's talk about the next thing. I wanted to get that out so badly. Thank you for letting me get that out. One, Sabrina Estella. But let's talk about this. We have for the tag team championships, we have Axiom and Nathan Frazier going against the fraudulent Chase U, Andre Chase, and Duke Hudson, the Tattletale. Who do you got for this match?
Only based on story, Chase U.
All right. We got Chase U here. What do you guys in the chat? I got to see in there in the chat laughing. I'm going to cook the comments after we review this. Do these predictions here. Next match we have Obafemi, the strongest black man I've ever seen in my life, going against Wesley. If Wesley lose, this would be his only opportunity at the North American Championship. With me hearing all that makes me think Wesley is going to go over. I don't think so. I think Obafemi is going to throw this man to Alaska and have Wesley stranded there. So I'm going with Obafemi, the Thanos killer. Who do you got here?
My heart is breaking so much for making this prediction. As everybody knows how much I love Wesley, how much I talk about him, how much I like mentioning that my profile picture on
That's
Instagram.
Your profile picture.
I hung out with him. Not hung out with him when I met him and got to take a picture. As much as I love that man from the absolute biggest piece of my heart, Oba is going to retain the belt and he's not going to be able to challenge it. But he could if someone else takes the belt off of Oba, then he'll be able to challenge. So it'll be like a Miz and Gunther story where if Miz lost, he wasn't going to be able to challenge Gunther for the IC belt again. So they're probably going to do that. Or maybe even have him go after the NXT championship at some point. Don't know when, but maybe.
Ooh, great. That's fair. That's fair. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. I just wanted to add one more piece here. Wesley, I have a lot of respect for Wesley. I mean, his comeback is incredible, but I can't help but say, but Obafemi is going to dominate Wesley. Sorry, it had to come out. Let's talk about this. We have some women matches here as well. We have for the NXT Women's Championship, we have Roxanne Perez, the Prodigy, going against Lola Vice. Lola Vice, we talked about her promo from earlier, and I know she want to make Mama proud, and she is going to make Mama proud. But Roxanne is going to go over. She's going to retain the championship. What do you got here, Wrestling Doll?
A battle of Latinas, Mexico versus Cuba. Listen, I know Lola is my Cuban sister. However, she is not ready for championship gold yet. She still needs to train some more, hone her craft, perfect it even more. She is a great MMA fighter. She still needs to work on her wrestling skills more. I mean, her match with Shayna wasn't the best, and they had MMA rules, basically. They had an underground match. But I still say that Roxanne will still be the prodigal champion that she is.
There we go. There was highlights earlier today about these two young ladies. We have Sol Ruka going against Kalani Jordan. Kalani, she says no one does it like Lani. And it's true because I tried to do a backflip and I am very much in pain. So yes, she's telling the truth. This is her second title defense here. You know, for whatever reason, there was something about watching the video today, and maybe it's not going to happen, but I was like, I felt for some reason, it felt like Sol Ruka is going to turn heel, but maybe that's not the case. So Ruka, I think she's going to be one day. She is going to be a great North American women's champion. I do. I think she's grown into her own. I think that there's a lot of talent there. But I got Kalani retaining. I see her, you know, keeping the title and continue making those shorts. No one does it like Lani. Who you got here, Sabrina Stella?
Now, this was my first pick to win the North American Championship belt for the women in Sol Ruka. And one of the last people that I anticipated winning that match in Kalani Jordan. Nothing against her, it was just what I was thinking story-wise. And as much as I would love Sol Ruka to have that belt and be NXT Women's North American Champion, just not right now. Let Kalani enjoy being the first inaugural women's champion and having that belt and showing to the locker room that she's not just a pretty little face that can do some gymnastics moves here and there. Hell, maybe she'll even use some of those gymnastics to get out of being put into the Soul Snatcher and escape it. They both have some gymnastics background in them, so she could probably use that to her advantage.
Good point. Shout out to you, Wrestling Doll, for that. Let's get into the chat real quick, and we're going to talk about the main event. We got Groot in the chat said, yes, make a coin with a beard shirt. I kind of like that idea. George says, of course, JC and Jasmine is going to win. Oh, now he wants to join the train. Too late. A white woman letter is crazy work. That might be
We're wrestling fans. We're all crazy people.
We're all a little bit loony. Guess what? AEW Dynamite Beach Break coming up tomorrow. That's what's tomorrow? There's Beach Break? We got, and Jason Jasmine ain't beating Jade and Bianca. They're not the tag
They're
champ.
not champions anymore.
No, not. So I have nothing to worry about. But yes, if they were the tag champs, I would fear for JC and Jasmine. Absolutely. We got also George Nathan Axiom. If Ridge don't get involved, he's more than most likely going to show up. I vote for Chase U. George says, I want to see Wesley win.
We would like that too, but based on how it looks story-wise, Oba's going to retain.
We got, I vote for Wesley. New H-Man says.
Unless they somehow knock out the referee and then the Rascals come out to help Wesley take that belt from Oba.
We got Wesley loses to go on Better Thing and challenge for the NXT chip, while HBK focus on the rumors Moose versus Femi match. Okay, that's interesting.
Would be insane because I have seen Moose wrestle, and then one time I went to a TNA taping. That was crazy.
You know, a lot of people wanted to see Oba against this guy named Hammerstone. I'm not super familiar. I've seen one or two clips of him, but I've seen people really wanting to see that. But him and Moose, I mean, I would be down for it. Dustin for the Rose and Red Movie.
Oh, Alexander Hammerstone.
Yeah, that's his name. Thank you. I vote for Lola Vice. And there it is, dominated. See, that's the shirt that everyone really wants from me. Dominated. Thank you for that, Z. He knows the catchphrase. Lola Vice, the first Cuban American NXT Women's Champion. That's George. Who's this? George. They might swear us and have Lola win. It's possible. Anything can happen. There's been times where I was so sure about a match and it went the opposite direction. I just don't see it. Lola. So Z says Lola is ready. Roxanne is too over and ready for the main roster. More than Fire and Dawn. I think she's definitely ready. I was actually surprised that she didn't get
ready, but the thing is they got to keep building up that roster to have more star power so people will still want to watch even when she's called up.
I think also too is that you just don't want to call her up. I think you want to make sure there's a spot for her when she does get called up. And
otherwise she's in the back doing nothing, maybe getting called for a dark match or two and losing to people like Dakota Kai because they're not getting used on TV much.
Yeah, and I would think, because I mean, was she 22, 23? She's young.
She's in her early 20s.
Right. I remember when I was in my early 20s. I'm so jealous of her. We got Jose. I vote for Kalani Jordan. That is New Age Man. We also got George, who says Kalani Jordan. I see her retaining. And George also, he comments to Z. The Z is sound. You are right, Lola. I see her winning. And let's get into this main event, and we're going to call it a night here, folks. The main event, we have a fatal four-way for the NXT Championship. We have Trick Williams, we have Javon Evans, Ethan Page, and Sean Spears, who look very menacing in this picture. It looked like he's doing a growl. I was like, ah. Trick is retaining this bad boy. Like, I guess this is supposed to be like Trick's greatest challenge. He's going against Ethan Page, Sean Spears, and the young Evans, and it's supposed to be challenging for him, but he finds a way and he does get the win. But I will throw this little caveat here. I see him winning. Who takes the pin? I know it's a tough one.
I mean, besides Ethan Page, Sean was talking a lot of smack, but I feel like based on how the contract signing went, I feel like it makes sense if Ethan were to eat it based on it to keep their thing going. But it would be interesting to see if Sean Spears were to take the pin. As for who I pick to be the winner of this match, whoop that Trick.
There we go. And you know, and I agree. I do see Sean taking the pin. I mean, they mentioned Evans. They both beat Evans. You don't want to have Ethan taking another pinfall. One of my things for me was that, you know, when he had that match with Trick, I said, oh man, like, and not because he don't deserve an NXT championship, but I was like, he just got here and he's losing the Trick. And I'm not really a fan of people debuting and losing right away. I'm not a big fan of that. I mean, it wasn't going to do anything. Like, no one's going to sit here and say Ethan Page is washed. But yeah, I agree. Sean's going to get the pin. George says that. George also mentioned that Kat and Shay probably picked Ethan Page. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they did. But Trick is retaining. That is the show. We're going to be live after the show. Both me, Sabrina, and Stella, we're going to be on. We're going to have some friends on here. We're going to talk some NXT. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be fun. But with all that said, and H-Man is asking the heavy-hitting questions. Who like ham and turkey? Saying I wouldn't eat ham. I'm not much of a ham person, but
I wouldn't eat turkey, and I don't like the taste of it too much. And turkey makes you sleepy. I don't want to eat something that makes me sleepy.
I feel like this episode has become Sabrina Stella, the great betrayal, because
I don't eat sandwiches too often anyways because they don't really fill me up.
Yeah, no, they're quite the tease. You'll have a sandwich, and next thing you know, you're like, man, I could have had some more. But with all that said, Sabrina Stella, we're gonna talk about the great stuff that we have here on Unpopular Review. We have a lot of content here. It's a great brand. I mean, we talk wrestling, we talk entertainment. I believe they did a Dracula movie because I see a clip in here, but we're going to talk just particularly wrestling here on Unpopular Review W here. On Mondays, we have the Mike Knox Show kicking off the weeks, Monday, 6 p.m. Check him out. And also we have the Monday Night Raw crew no longer having a watch along, but goes live Tuesday at 7 p.m. We also have the Dynamite crew to go on right after Dynamite. You have I almost said Dirty Dan. Dirty Dan was from fucking SpongeBob, but we have Dan the Man and Venomous Benny. They talk about Dynamite. We also have the SmackDown crew. They go on Saturdays at 12 p.m. The thing went away too quickly for me, but they go live 12 p.m. in the afternoon. Is one Vic. My brain is so late because I almost said Vic Joseph. I didn't know we hired Vic Joseph, but we have Vic and we have Z the Silent. Those gentlemen are great. Check them out in the afternoon. They talk about SmackDown. I was with them while I was filling in for Vic. Same thing with EC, and got a chance to work with Fricker Francais. Shout out to all the gentlemen. We had a really good show on Saturday. It was so good that EC, all he cared about was a freaking car. It was hilarious. And what all that said, Wrestling Dog, there's a link to it, but you have content, you make content, you've been doing a fantastic job in your content creating thing. What do you got going on for you?
I have my YouTube channel, The Unofficial Caramel Woman, where I go throughout Central Florida and occasionally South Florida and record wrestling matches at companies where they are okay with it and put them up online for people to see, where you can catch former / current AEW, TNA, WWE talents as well.
That is fantastic. Make sure you click that link. And also on my end, we have an audio podcast that's called the Big Pop Theory Podcast. We recorded episode 70. It's hard to believe that we have already hit 70 episodes. It is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts is no longer a thing, right? I think it's something Podbeam, and there's a few things. So if you want to just check it out, we talk about the week of wrestling and stuff like that. It's usually a pretty good time. Please check it out. And we will be going live on the Big Pop Theory Podcast on the YouTube. We're going to do predictions for Money in the Bank. It's going to be me, Sawyer, and a few friends of mine. And we're going to give our thoughts and stuff. So it's a good time. It's still underneath the banner, and still we team up with Unpopular Review. But yes, it's a jolly good time. George says, I want to tell Shay I told you so. Oh, now you want to be mean to Shay. Every time I work with her, you do every chance to be like, you're right, Shay. You did this right. What about when I'm right? I don't remember the last time I was ever wrong. I can't recall. And we got Z the Silent. He says, I got to get you a graphic for your channel. A stop. There's not enough capital at the end there, Z. You got to say a stop. Like, you got to make sure you scream it out loud. Matter of fact, when I was like off, I kid you not, I mean, I would see people work Sabrina Stella. I was like, no, it's Sabrina Stella. You gotta make sure you do that. You gotta add the neck motion into that. Like right now, I'm not even gonna lie. I think I just did this episode with a broken freaking neck right about now. But that's the show, and we hope that you guys enjoyed this Unpopular Review, the NXT review show. Follow come back here tomorrow for AEW. I will be joining Dan the Man and Venomous Venny because that's what I do. If you leave the door open, I will be there. George says, oh, there we go. He fixed it. See, that's how you do it. A Stella, like Elaine from Seinfeld. That's how you do it. Good job, Z. Shout out to Z. That's my main man. We got George said, now you need to invite Shay on the NXT Heatwave review show so I could tell her that I told you so. I'm only being told what to do, George. But with that said, it's almost midnight. We're going to call it a night. And with all that said, let's make sure we get the whole thing here. I think we have an exit thing here, right? Do we? No. It's a lot of like music that you can't play. I feel like that would just mess up. But Sabrina, so why don't you say goodbye to the people that is watching?
Well, we thank you all for watching and enjoying our product, watching us discuss everything, rant, and get into our usual tangents as to why y'all love and keep watching us. Keep watching, support not just us, but everybody on the Unpopular Review, both the wrestling and the entertainment side. Support the shorts on YouTube, on Instagram as well, and TikTok, and this man's podcast as well. Got to give some love to the Big Pop Theory Podcast.
That's my big pop dance.
And we also give one more shout out to one Mr. Bret Hart as we wear colors and his merch to celebrate his special day.
You know, I'm really upset because I should have had a picture of Bill Goldberg in some kind of like position just getting dominated. But I didn't
you
have
your picture of you with Bret Hart on your social media. That makes it even better.
That was a fantastic thing. I'm not going to hold you guys much longer, but getting to meet Bret Hart in real life, and this guy put Goldberg. I'm glad he put in low capitals because that's exactly what I think of one that Bill Goldberg in low capital. Good job, Z the Sound. But meeting him in real life was such a highlight in my life. The 5-year-old me was very excited seeing this man who shook my hand. He said, I have a nice shirt. And he said, thank you for seeing me. And I wanted to cry, but I can't cry because I've lost that emotion a long time ago. So I'm very happy that I saw one Bret the Hitman Hart. Thank you for making me a fan of professional wrestling, Bret Hart. I will continue to support that man for whatever he does because there's no bad. He always does good because he's called the excellence of execution. He said Goldberg was a better U.S. champion. Okay, Z, now, clearly there's too much yak going on there on that side of the fence here because now you're just saying anything. You know, I could say anything too. Watch this. See, that's all I heard. Thank you guys for watching our show. So goodbye. And that's the show.